Good morning, everybody. I thought today we would go over how to put together some of the cards that I had offered in my card buffet. So these are the 4 cards that I'm going to go over this morning. The other way. Start with the easiest one first, which is the whale. So this is a die that you get, it's already cut out, and the little squares of the designer series paper, you just put behind each of these panels. The whale is already cut out for you because there's a punch for that, and you'll have to cut out the little turtle. And then I took the squares that were here, odd squares, they're not squares, the squarish shapes, and I put them on the inside and then stamped 3 things to put there. Now you can choose to stamp 1, you can choose to not put anything on the inside, that's totally up to you. But that's the first card. The next card is the Sea Life one. And I'll just show you, the first time I did the card, I just put this on top of plain paper. You can see there's no, didn't put it through an embossing folder or anything. And I just felt like it was a little too plain. So I went ahead and ran it through the same embossing folder. So what you get with this, you'll get the actual card base. Then you'll have the piece that's been run through the embossing folder. And then the gold piece was run through the embossing folder and then also die cut. So you can check to make sure all these little pieces are popped out. And then this just fits directly on top of that one. All right, and just I think having those little dots in the background really makes a nice difference. And I like the gold. So again, just put this right on top, and then everybody got a set of the mini messages. So you can pick one out of there, like I did here with the celebrate or a hello. Those are both included in there. If you don't particularly like those sayings that are there, just turn it over and you can then stamp your own saying on the back for the same, shape, or you can cut out a different piece of white. That's totally up to you on that. Easy card, but very pretty, I think. Okay, so now we'll go on to the wreath. Now for this card, I just love this watercolor paper. This was some that was available through Celebration. So if you will take your base cardstock and just fold that in half, and then you'll take the designer series paper and the this is Rich Razzleberry, and then you can just adhere those. If you would rather use this side, you absolutely can. That's the fun thing about the designer series paper, is that you've always got 2 choices about which side that you would like to use. Okay, and then I wanted this offset enough over here so that I have room for the wreath to be about, if you put this in the middle, then the wreath is going to be in the middle, and that's okay. It's totally up to you. You're going to have to fit the wreath inside of this piece, because otherwise, of course, the paper is going to show through, which you could do. You could do it like this, add your words. I'm just going to pick one that's out there and leave it like that, or you can do it to the side like I have it. So, you know what? Maybe I will do this one in the middle just so that you can see the difference. Let me go ahead and adhere this. That's the fun thing about making cards, is that you can take an idea and then switch it around a little bit to make it all your own. If this is a little bit, if you end up having, like, there's a little tiny bit there, you can always shave that off with your scissors. Okay, so now for this, like I said, I used, you know what, maybe this time I won't do that. You've got this white piece, so that if you want to turn it around and find where, I think this might, there, no. You'll have to turn it around to get the right, you know what I mean, where the right thing, where it'll fit in there. But maybe this time I will not put the white piece on there, just so you can see what that would look like. So here I would probably use the liquid adhesive here, just because, of course, the tape runners, you don't want to put too much so that it gushes out. All right, so up to the top, through the middle. I think I'll just keep it in the middle. Okay. And then you're going to put some flowers around here. Now I have 3 large flowers in 3 different colors. Yep, that's the same color. There we go, 3 colors. And then I have 3 small flowers. Again, I'm trying to work with odd numbers. Okay, and again, all I would do on here, you can either pop those up on a dimensional if you want to, or you can just glue them down. Totally up to you. So I usually take the 3 largest ones and make a triangle. And by that, I mean put like 1, 2, 3, so that they are like the 3 corners of a triangle. And you notice some of them, the middle has fallen out, and some of them it's in. It doesn't matter here because we're going to put little gems in the middle. Okay, so then when I have those 3, then I go back and do the small ones. Again, the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There. And then if you will just take a rhinestone or a pearl and put in the center of each of those flowers. And for this one, like I said, maybe I would just pop that up and put that there. So you can see what it would look like to add the white piece, so that you could actually stamp directly on that white piece. You know what I mean? If you wanted to, instead of popping something on top of it. With the designer series paper to the left side, or if you left it in the middle and just did the wreath without the white piece, if you're going to pop a saying on top of that, then it wouldn't make a difference, really. And I think it looks pretty either way. And then don't forget, you've got the little rhinestones and pearls that you'll put on top here. All right, let's get that one out of the way. All right, now for this last one, this card, this will be our fun fold for today. And this card looks a little more difficult than it actually is. All right, so if you will start with a piece of 11 by 4 1/4. So this is half of a regular sheet of paper, but instead of cutting it long ways like we usually, or crossways like we usually do, I've cut it long ways. Let me make sure this is a 11. Yes. Okay. So if you'll just fold that in half, and then that's going to make your regular, what they call an A2 size of card. All right, so this is going to fit in the regular envelope. And then this is just a piece of designer series paper that's a 1/4 inch smaller. So the card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So the designer series paper is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and that's pretty much like standard. All right, so then on this, what we're going to do is we're going to take the front and take either a ruler or whatever measurements you have. I can use my grid paper. And this is, like we said, 4 1/4, so I want to go halfway. So 1, 2, and 1/8. And I make a little tick mark. All right, and then I'll do the same thing on my designer series paper. I'll do it up here, maybe you can see better. This one's 4, so halfway is 2. All right, so then bring in your cutter, trimmer, whatever you would like to call it, and you are going to line up the little tick mark that's in the exact center, and you're going to cut that from here up to the corner. Okay, so I cut from the little tick mark all the way up to the corner, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So from that little tick mark up to the corner. And for those of you that got the buffet, yours is already cut, so you don't have to worry about cutting that. And put that to the side, and we're going to do the same thing here. So I've got my little tick mark there at 2 inches. So I'll cut from there up to this corner. And I'm just lining this up right in the well. There. And do the same thing here. From that center point up to this. All right, and then I'll get the trimmer out of the way. All right, so what you have here is this regular piece that we just cut into pieces, and this one that we cut into pieces. Okay? Now, when my trimmer blade starts to get a little bit dull, because our paper is so nice, it leaves sometimes some little residual on there. Can you see that? Just take a little emery board or take your sander, if you have one of the sanders, and just sand that off a little bit. The white, to me, does it the most. I think that paper is just very, it's not linen, but it's got a lot of fibers in it. Let's put it that way. And the designer series paper usually doesn't do too bad. But that's an easy way, no matter what paper you're using, is just to take the little emery board and just file that down. Okay. So now I'm going to take this triangle piece here, and I'm going to adhere it to the front. Now this, again, you can do with, I think I'm going to use the liquid just because at this point, I can't make it all the way down there with my regular Stampin' Seal. And I want to make sure that those corners are adhered down. And plus, using the liquid, it gives me a minute. I can move it around a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you can see, because I had it cut a 1/4 inch smaller, that's going to help, see, to leave you that margin there. And then we'll do the same thing on these. Make sure that you do them on the right side because we want one from each side. So that will give us here and here. And again, because I've got these points where I can't get my snail or Stampin' Seal or whatever up there, I'm going to go ahead and use the liquid. I started seeing this fold. Of course, on Pinterest, you start, and I thought, boy, that's really neat. It lends itself to really making a nice card, even though it's not difficult to do. Okay. All right, and again, because this designer paper was a 1/4 inch smaller. Okay, so again, that's where that came off of, and this is where this came off of. But now when I'm putting the card together, I want to put this on here, just like this. But you've got to make sure, of course, that it's inside the lines of the card. So if I put this one here, and then I'm only going to, I don't want adhesive down here because then that's going to stick to the back of the card. So you're just going to put adhesive up here on this part. Let me show you. And again, this will allow us to move it around a little bit. There we go. Because I wanted this lined up all the way down, kind of on this edge. Whoops. Okay. And then the same thing here. See, that'll go like that. Isn't that cool? I mean, it takes very little effort. It's just, cutting from the middle all the way up to the corner. Oh, my, just put it down here. That's what I get for not paying attention. I guess I can't talk and glue at the same time. So that's okay. We'll just wipe that off. Let me try this again. It's funny, I was talking to some other demonstrators last night. They were talking about it whenever they make a mistake and then they start their videos over or whatever. And I said, why? It's just, we all make mistakes. And it's better, I think, to show you what I do when I mess up. So if you do the same thing, then you go, oh, wait a minute, I'll just get that off of there. Okay, so then I took a piece. Sorry, I don't think I cut it. I took a piece of the Misty Moonlight and put behind it just because I thought this was too much white. Sorry, I'll cut it right quick. And again, it's 5 1/4 by 4, just like your mat from the front. And see how that looks now, and then see how it looks when you put that blue piece behind it. And then again, you can take whatever words that you'd like to put on here. You can just put the words on here. You don't even have to put the butterfly. I just added the butterfly because I thought it looks cool. You could put the wreath on here. You could put flowers on. You could put anything on here that you absolutely would like to put on here. There's no right or wrong. Trying to think, if you just wanted to pop up a word and put on there, you don't even have to have the butterfly. When I did, of course, you have a butterfly, and I only adhered it down in the middle so that the wings would be loose. And then the other thing you can do, if you have a Wink of Stella, which you see me use a lot, you could even color the wings. When it dries, it'll come lighter again, but this would add a little bit of that sparkle to it, if that's what you want. Okay, so I hope that you will try this kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, triangle front card. Very easy to do. You might want to try the wreath, either with the wreath on the side with the white piece in there, or the wreath in the middle with no white piece in there. You can try the sea life. It's got the dots and everything, and the gold makes it look so pretty. And then, of course, one of my favorites is the whale. And just pop the little squares on the inside and put some words in there if you'd like. So that's it for this morning. I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.